In this video, I want to show you an art meditation technique that is pretty loose and carefree. So to get started, you just take a watercolor brush pen and scribble on the page. Do not concern yourself with it looking aesthetically pleasing whatsoever. Doesn't have to be balanced, doesn't have to make sense, just put color on the page. And I picked a couple random colors here. In fact, I even was like, these might clash, but I kind of wanted that. I like to do this more doodly, scribbly, blobby approach to my art meditation when I'm especially in a funk. Maybe I'm tired or just, I don't know, kind of stuck in a rut. This kind of helps me process any blech inside my mind. So now that I've got my colors down on the paper, I'm taking a water brush pen filled with water. And first I'm going to just add a couple drops to the page, and then I'm going to start blending. And again, I'm following the marks I made on the paper to blend, but otherwise I don't really have a strategy. There's no approach here. Not a complicated step-by-step process. And that's why I love these tools. Watercolor brush pens, super easy. A water brush pen, super easy. Very little or no mess at all. And I just keep blending the colors until I have a real, almost like a organ type blob on the paper. And don't worry if the colors muddy together. For this particular exercise, we're not concerned with how this thing looks at all. And I'm doing this one today in a sketchbook. You might want to do your Doodle blob or your Scribble blob art meditations in a sketchbook, because that can just kind of help you mentally know, like, I'm not going to be sharing this with anyone. This isn't for anyone else but me. So you really can just let loose and blend to your heart's content without any self-judgment. And I'm just adding strokes here to kind of blend the colors in a bit. Okay. So I usually like to add a couple drops to the top of the blob to create a little bit of the water bleed, and then I let these things dry usually for 30 to 45 minutes before I move on to the ink and the paint. Okay, so we've given her time to dry. Now for this, I use just a regular old Sharpie marker, and I kind of doodle trace. I call this doodle tracing. I'm following the outline of the blob, but I'm also doodling and just taking more of a scribbly approach to it. And I'll just start adding marks here and there. Whatever feels good. It's kind of like whatever I want, just try it out. This is a fun way to experiment too. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've seen that I do a lot of detailed line work in my other art meditations, and those usually take me 20 to 45 minutes for the line work alone, depending on how detailed I want to be. This process right here is not sped up at all. I'm showing you the whole process, and it's only a couple minutes of doodling. So this is a really nice short meditation exercise to just, it gets the blah out of my brain onto the paper, and usually it ends up looking cool. Again, I don't want you to get hung up on that because that's not the point. But the way these things tend to usually come together, it usually surprises me. So now I'm adding some color with a paint marker. I don't do this on my more detailed art meditations that take longer. But when I do these Doodle blobs. I like to add a little bit of paint and some pop of color. And since I did red, purple, and blue watercolor with the paint pens here, I'm also doing red, purple, and then I finish with blue, as you'll see in 1 second here. Just adding some final marks on the page, just random, really not thinking ahead. I'm very in the moment. This helps me clear out the fog in the brain, that good old brain fog. It feels really good. I like it.